live. Give a moment for people to hop on. Today I'm going to be diving into something that I've dealt with personally is what happens on a nervous system level when you are living in a place of scarcity and how to work through scarcity. And that's something that I continuously have to work through. So yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know when where you're tuning in from. Definitely write any questions in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to see where y'all are tuning in from. Ireland, what's up? Hey, Morgan. Here from VA. ATX, Serbia, Los Angeles. All right, I'll give a couple more minutes to let everyone tune in. I have been hard at work creating curriculum. I was just chatting with parts of the team about these lives and how I can best support you all. There is, I spend a majority of my time teaching practitioners and going over the skills and meta skills and what it means to actually be a practitioner, which sometimes can be a little bit complex going into on these lives versus how can I support you all? What are you currently moving through? Let me know in the chat what you're currently moving through. What is the pattern that you are currently struggling with? I would love to start to create a list and go into each one of those. The main thing before we dive into the specific topic around scarcity, around what actually happens on a physiological level, and how to move through that. First off, what's up, Madeline? What's up, Bailey? Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for all of you that are tuning in on YouTube as well. Low self-esteem, self-doubt, trauma. Okay. So before we dive into that specifically, tune into one pattern that's blocking you right now. Whatever it is. If it's self-doubt, self-worth, if it's some sort of trauma, if it's betrayal. I wouldn't necessarily say betrayal is the pattern that you are currently dealing with. It is what caused that inside. Fear, maybe fear of connection, fear of opening up, fear of getting hurt again. Maybe you're dealing with feeling closed off to other people. Maybe it's feeling safe. Betrayal is kind of the outside force, right? Because trauma, stress is not what's happening. It's not the things that are happening to you being betrayed, but it's what happened inside of your body, inside of your soul, you could say, inside of your being based on what happened to you. And it's subjective. It's different for each person. But tune into one pattern that is blocking you, that you feel like is in your way right now. And if you feel comfortable to chat it or to type it in the chat and let me know, maybe we can go into a couple examples. Exactly, Bailey. Fear, betrayal might be the fear of deep connection, right? So tune into that pattern. See if you can go to a point in your life where whatever that pattern is, actually was probably the most helpful thing, the most adaptive thing that your being knew how to do in that moment in time. For example, let's take the betrayal, since that one keeps coming up. Really, on a deep level, that is probably a fear of opening up, a fear of getting hurt again, it's not a fear of, it's a desire for connection, but it's a fear of getting hurt, a fear of letting people too close, a fear of getting betrayed again, right? Well, for me, what happens is we have these defense systems. You could say that's trauma, right? Trauma is a defense system. It's an intelligent response. It is the most intelligent thing that your body, your being knew how to do. You get betrayed, you close off, you protect yourself. It's the most intelligent thing that your body and your being knew how to do. So whatever it is that's blocking you right now, if it's lack, if it's scarcity, well, that's a protective mechanism as well. That's like, oh, I need to make sure I have enough, right? Because there might not be enough. So there is an intelligence. Whatever the pattern is, see if you can find the intelligence of it right now. If it's betrayal, maybe it was that you need to armor up. You need to armor up your heart. See if you can tune into the intelligence of it, because that's the first step in healing anything, is to be able to witness the intelligence of whatever your pattern is. And maybe you have to go back to a certain point in your life. For me, I'd say I have a pattern of avoiding things. I have a pattern of avoiding confrontation, pattern of avoiding difficult situations, avoiding deep connection. Now, if I go back and if I look at the intelligence of that pattern, there's a protective mechanism. There's a protection there. There's probably I needed to run or fight or flight from any sort of situation or protect myself because the outside world was chaos at some point in time. So truly see if you can identify whatever pattern's blocking you right now. See if you can tune into the intelligence of it. Feeling out of control. Go a little bit deeper there. Go a little bit deeper. What are you feeling out of control of? What do you need to control? See if you can go a little bit deeper into that. That's not necessarily like a pattern in yourself. It's probably, I can't say for you. See if you can go a little bit deeper in that. For example, like my example, the avoidance, the walling off. I grew up with parents that were incredibly dysregulated, dealt with addiction issues, fighting specifically, and I'm going to tie this back into the scarcity, specifically around everything related to money. And looking at your relationship with money is a deep thing, because there's probably some sort of trauma around it. And there's probably there's always intelligence in your trauma. There's always intelligence. And it's so important for your healing journey to find the intelligence of it. What was the protective mechanism? What were you protecting yourself from? Because your body does everything for a reason. You are sitting in the achievements of thousands of years of evolution. Your nervous system, the patterns of your nervous system, the very deep animalistic patterns of your nervous system, such as fight, flight, freeze. What that is that it's been passed down for generations and generations and generations. If something happens, you either move towards something, you move away from something, or you freeze in the moment and you stop yourself from feeling. And you didn't teach yourself that. Your parents. When your parents come together, what happens is that they're each taking their DNA And ideally, this is like, ideally they'd orient themselves around this. But this is what's going on when you're born. Both your parents are taking their DNA and they're combining it together, and they're creating a gift to the world, which is you. You are the gift. And the gift that you're given is this body with all of the pros and all of your strengths, all of your beautiful patterns, all the things that you're good at. And obviously there's the nurture aspect of it. You can teach yourself a lot of things, but your baseline patterns, the things that you are really good at, and also you received all of their unprocessed trauma as well too. You receive all of their undigested emotions. You receive all of the things that they were not able to integrate and complete. And really, ideally, what's happening is they are giving you this gift and they're saying, hey, here, take this, make it better, make it better. And then pass it down the lineage and continue to make it better, continue to evolve, right? This is the idea of this transitional character, the one who finds a way to metabolize the poison, which is the poison is the unintegrated emotions, the unintegrated trauma that your parents never had the opportunity to do in their lifetime, and maybe they don't, but they pass it down to you and they say, here, deal with my shit. But really what they're saying is, here, make this better and pass it down the line. And so, thanks, Bailey. Lack of boundaries. Okay, I'm going to circle back to that. Let's keep going on down this rabbit hole of kind of a deeper understanding. So you are not your chronological age. You are ancient because it has taken thousands and thousands of years to cultivate the intelligent processes, the ways in which you protect yourself. So now that you go back to your pattern that's blocking you right now, see if you can see the intelligence of it. On an animalistic level, it's probably you like there's a desire to move towards something, there's a desire to move away from something, or there's a desire to freeze and not feel, basically play dead. And those things protect you in the moment. They protect you in the moment, but over time, if they're left undigested, unprocessed, then they become the thing that blocks you later on. And we live in a world where we're not taught how to work through this stuff, how to digest our trauma, and when I say digest it, I'm talking about not just cognitively work through it. How do I move it out of my body? How do I retrain my body? And how I started this with the concept of scarcity. Well, that's deep. You can do all of the mind tricks in your, you can do all of the manifestation meditations. You can do all of the work around your mindset around money. But if your body doesn't feel safe to receive money, if your body doesn't feel safe to actually receive love, I've watched myself. I've actually pushed away people that love me. I've actually pushed away like so much because I actually don't feel safe to receive it. And that's not happening in my mind because my mind is like, I'm safe. What do you mean I'm safe? Well, on a deep, deep level, does your body actually feel safe? And what happens when an animal is wounded? When an animal is wounded, it's going to lash out at everybody. It doesn't care if you're giving it food. It doesn't care if you are going to give it a hug. It doesn't care if you're showing up as an empathetic witness. It's going to lash out on everyone. And then you might ask yourself, well, why do I keep creating the same situations in my life? Even though I might be, and obviously working through it in the mind is a powerful thing. It's part of it. But working through it on a body level, on a somatic level, It requires reconnecting the mind back to the body, reconnecting back to the intelligence of your patterns. Will take the pressure off yourself. How many of you feel like you are so hard on yourself? And I see this in the personal development world. We're so fucking hard on ourselves because on a baseline level, stress is I'm here and I want to be over there. Even to say there's a pattern that's blocking you right now is that I'm right here and I have this pattern and I actually want to be over there, and that's okay. But that's creating an immense amount of pressure on yourself. So how we can start to peel off the pressure that you're putting on yourself is to first start to identify the intelligence behind your patterns. And so for me, I tune back into I tune back into the little boy that the only thing it knew how to do was to protect. The only thing it knew how to do was to close off, and the only place that was safe is to come into myself. The outside world was not necessarily safe. And so that was the thing that protected me in the moment, but it has become the thing that's blocked me later on down the line. And so the first step in healing that is to honor that little child, or maybe it was recent in your life. Maybe it's something recent that you're dealing with. That's totally fine too. But to identify the intelligence of it. So tune into whatever pattern. And if you're just joining us right now, I'm having you kind of tune into a pattern that you're witnessing within yourself that's blocking you currently. And now, once you have that, go back and see if you can tune into the intelligence of it. It probably was the thing that protected you the most at some point in your life. It probably is the thing. It probably is the thing that gave you a tremendous amount of skill as well. For me, I became very sensitive to the outside world. I became hypersensitive. How many of you have experienced like hypersensitivity in your life, where you're constantly picking up on everybody? Maybe it gave you the skill of being an empath, where you're picking up on everyone else's stuff. It gave you this skill, but also on the opposing side, it probably is giving you something that is blocking you. For me, developing this hypersensitivity and this hyper awareness, I lose myself in that. Let's see. Lahika, currently experiencing hypersensitivity. So there's a skill, there's an intelligence in the hypersensitivity, and there's also probably something along the lines with that's blocking you, a loss of self, a loss of boundary. Usually if you're having a boundary issue, a ton of people have issues with boundaries. And if you're tuning into this and you're an empath, right? Gina says, being an empath is a blessing and a curse. Absolutely. It's a skill, but you need to develop the other side too. You need to first understand that it's a skill and deeply thank yourself for developing the skill, because it probably is the thing that kept you alive. It probably is the thing that kept you safe. And now later on down the line, it might be the thing that's blocking you from being able to connect to yourself and your truth and what matters to you and your own preference. I work with a lot of empaths that have a hard time figuring out their preference. They might, you might live your life, and especially if you get into a relationship, you might live your life from a place of wanting to cater, or people pleasing comes in with empath, because people pleasing is, I don't actually feel safe in myself because I'm tuning into everyone else, and I want to make sure that everyone else is happy. I abandon myself. I abandon my own preference. What feels good for me? What do I want? Honoring the innate intelligence of it, and now looking at the opposing side of it. How is it blocking you? taking the pressure off of yourself, because that's going to make it worse. Let's see what Gina said. I need to develop the other side. Thinking generationally way back, I struggle with constant worry about everything. There's probably a multitude of everything here. Christina says, I feel like you know me. A lot of us deal with this. And that's why, if you're tuning into, I know Morgan tuned in for a moment, I would highly recommend tuning into her lives where she's guiding you through a somatic awareness practice, which is how to reconnect your mind back to your body. Most of us are talking heads. We live up here. If you're thinking too much, you live up here. Reconnect to the intelligence of your body. Your body knows. There's more intelligence. Like, really think about this. There is more intelligence in your body than your mind can ever even fathom. Your mind can't even tune in to what it takes to digest your food, what it takes to beat your heart, what it takes to process oxygen and release CO2, right? All of these intelligent processes are going on, and you don't have to think about it. One of my favorite quotes, Gabor Mate, is, the first step into healing trauma is to reconnect the mind back to the body. So we've connected to the intelligence. We've seen the opposing side of it. Now it's the part of reconnecting your mind back to your body. So I might actually also guide you through this somatic awareness practice. Let me know if that's something you want to do right now. And if you're willing and open to doing that. We got Nadeem tuning in here. I got distracted because he was texting me as well. Okay, so find a nice, comfortable seated position, or you can do the standing, or you can do laying down. Just find a comfortable position and start to bring your awareness back into yourself. Start to recall all of the parts of yourself. All of the parts of yourself that might be, stuck in your to-do list of all the things that you need to get done. Bring it all back. All of your attention that's elsewhere. Bring it all back. Start to bring your energy inward. Reclaim all of the parts of yourself that might be out there in the world traveling with somebody else. Maybe there were parts of yourself that you gave away to somebody else. Pull it back. Bring all of it back in. And with this nice deep breath in, bring it all of your parts back in. All of your attention, your intention, bring it all back in. Let the breath go. And so for this practice, this is a practice of being completely honest with yourself. You could look at this as it's a journal entry in time. If you were to write in your journal, you would never lie to yourself, right? It wouldn't do any good for you. A journal entry is an honest representation in time of where you are at right now. So this practice will not work unless you are completely honest with yourself. It won't work unless you are completely objective and honest with yourself. So give yourself permission to be honest with yourself. So the first thing you're going to do is just tune into your physical body. Just your physical body. If your back had a voice, what would it say to you? If your shoulders were able to tell you what's going on inside of them, what would it utter? Peel it apart from emotion, just the physical sensation. Can you start to listen to the language of your body? Are there parts of your body that are speaking to you? So developing somatic awareness moves into developing somatic literacy. So right now, I want you to type in the chat box, if you're open to it, I am noticing this in my body. Maybe you're noticing tension. Maybe you're noticing, take away emotion, no mental story, physical sensation, tinglies in your hands, maybe a fluttering in your stomach. Maybe there is a tension in your hips. Go ahead and write in the chat right now. I am noticing this in my body. Objective, truthful. Heart flutter and shoulder ache. Noticing uncomfortable in my stomach. So much tension in my mid-back. Okay. This somatic awareness process is designed from a bottom-up process of reconnecting your mind back to your body, but we got to start with the body. And for some of you, this might be hard. It's okay if it's hard. You were not taught how to do this. We weren't taught this from a young age. We lived in our head probably our whole life. So from there, just noticing physical sensation in your body, move up into your emotions. Is there any current emotional movement? And if you want to practice the somatic literacy part of it, being able to explain and being able to express how you're feeling, which is a fundamental skill that we should all learn. Imagine if we lived in a world where we could all tell each other truly. Imagine if we lived in a world where we actually could tune into our body and our emotions, and then we could actually tell other people how we're feeling. It would be a completely different world that we live in. So right now, and for me, usually it's in my belly. That's usually where, or maybe it's usually from like my belly to my neck is where I can tune into my emotions. Write in the chat box, I am feeling this. And just be completely honest with yourself right now. I'm feeling joy. I'm feeling happiness. I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling sadness. And with this practice, sometimes I know that it's hard for quite a few people to actually say and to identify with the emotion. There can be some discomfort there. I am feeling sad. Part of that has to do with understanding that emotions are energy in motion and they're moving through us. It's like, I am sad, and that's right now I'm feeling sad. But if I let myself feel it, it'll move through me. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling loneliness. I'm feeling fear. So from that place, I'm feeling worried. Fear, worried, all of those things might be your mind, might be an actual emotion. I'm going to challenge you to kind of tune into it a little bit. Let's move up into the head. Right now, what is the story that's playing in your head? What is the looping story that's playing on repeat in your head? And this is a practice, and try to use this language. The story in my head is this. When you're saying I'm feeling, and I'm say emotion. Like right now, I'm just going to do a little correction here. There's the fundamental part of this practice is you are confined by this language of I'm noticing in my physical body, I'm feeling this in my emotion. And the story in my head that's playing right now is this. We're compartmentalizing them, we're peeling them apart so that you can start to develop connections and you can see the difference between those. It's so important because that's how you can, and it's tough. I know it's tough. So, Alina says, I'm feeling all over the place and I'm unable to get myself together. That's a story. That's not a feeling. I am all over. The story in my head right now is that I'm all over the place and I'm unable to get myself together. It's not an emotion. So see if you can tune back into it. Maybe write this out. It might actually feel good for you, Leah, to write out the story right now in my head that's playing is I'm all over the place and I'm unable to get myself together. I appreciate that, Gina. The story in my head is that I lost something that I'll never get, that I'll never get that life and security back because I was abandoned by my friends when I was sick after surgery. You're welcome, Alina. Okay, so now come back to this place of awareness. We just tuned into the physical body. We tuned into the emotions, which is usually hardest for people. Don't live in an emotionally fluent world, so don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. The story in your head, you should be able to identify that pretty well. Now start to see if they are connected in any sort of way, like the physical pain in your body and the story that's playing in your head, or the physical pain in your body and the emotion that's there. I guarantee they're connected in some sort of way. And just notice, it's just subjective. The story in my head is that this is going on, and people will find me less worthy, and I will not feel good about myself. The story in my head, life is not safe, and I am not enough. Okay, so we tune into physical sensation in the body. We tune into emotion. We tune into the story that's playing in our head. We've separated them because of these prompts, and maybe you need to write these down for yourself. I highly recommend it. I'm noticing this in my body. I'm feeling this, and the story in my head is this. If you use those as journal prompts, you will start to reconnect back to the intelligence of your body. You will start to reconnect your mind back to your body. That's the first step in healing anything, is just awareness, right? From this place of connecting to yourself right now, what is it that you are wanting? One thing. Don't make it complex. Based on the state that you are in right now, based on your awareness, you just checked in to yourself. What is it that you are wanting? What is it that you are desiring? Most of the time, we think we know what we desire. We think we know what we want, but we're actually not consulting our body. We're actually not occupying ourselves in our body. So from this place of awareness, what is it that you are truly wanting? Let your body tell you. I am wanting this. It's a good thing for you, especially, taking this full circle. This is a powerful practice for those of you that are empaths or people pleasers or have a hard time, really claiming your wants and your needs and your desires. I think Rumdini says safety, wholeness, protection, security. Pick one of those. Pick one. I am wanting this. Claim it. Say it. Say it out loud. Practice your somatic literacy. Starts from somatic awareness, reconnecting to my body, the intelligence of it. Now being able to say that out into the world. Connie says, I'm wanting safety. Whatever it is that you're wanting right now, you could obviously You could define that for yourself, because words are the carrier of meaning. What does it mean to feel safe? That might be a powerful journal prompt for you. What is it that you're wanting? Type it in the chat. Let me know. The more you can do this, you are what you repeatedly do over time. You're not what you do sometimes. I would highly recommend setting an alarm on your phone or something and doing this practice over and over and over again. This is how you start to reconnect to the intelligence of your body. This is how you start to reconnect the mind back to the body, which is the first step in healing anything. I am wanting motherly wisdom. Beautiful. I would define that for yourself. What is it that you're wanting from that? This is a powerful practice to do with the people in your life that you're close to. It starts from somatic awareness, which we all need to develop, right? How am I actually feeling? And the reason why we compartmentalize those three is because if I ask you how you're feeling, it's so broad. You could say, I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I'm like, you could go to the story in your head. You could go to your emotion. You could go to the physical sensation. We need to develop, to figure out where we're resourcing that answer from. And then from that connected place, communicating, which is somatic literacy. Developing the ability to communicate how I feel is often a massive step in the right direction of our own healing journey. And then maybe I'll get into it next live. Then it's somatic relating, how to do this with other people, because we need each other. We are communal beings. We need to be able to tune into ourselves. How am I feeling? What is it that I'm wanting? And how do I say it to another person? And how do I actually receive what they want? This is a powerful, powerful practice. I didn't think I was going to guide you guys through this one right now, but we did it. Let me know how that was for you. There's nothing that needs to be fixed, changed about you. You are right here. Maybe you want to be over there, but can you pull yourself back to where you're at right now? Can you look at it as a journal entry in time, as an honest representation of where you're at right now? And that is okay. And there's an immense amount of intelligence in that. And that's the first step to healing anything. It's reconnecting your mind back to your body, reconnecting to the intelligence of it, and moving forward from that place. So I know I kind of went down quite a few different rabbit holes. Let me know if you found this beneficial. Just to give you guys some updates from the somatic side of things, from the somatic breathwork side of things. I have been hard at work. I just created a bodywork course. It'll be a 2-day live immersion that'll be specifically for people who want to learn hands-on, more hands-on touch techniques, who want to take a deeper dive into the communication of touch and how to support people through hands-on touch techniques. So I'm really excited about that. I have been working diligently with a woman who used to work for Harvard in curriculum design. And we have revamped and really solidified our level 1 training and also our level 2 training. I'm actually working with a couple of our practitioners and teachers to be able to start to teach the level 1 for me, because I'm only one human, and it's been such a powerful practice for me to actually see some people come in and actually teach it better than I do. I'm the one that created it. It's a selfless practice. It really is. And so really excited for that. If you have not taken the practitioner training or you already have, we have another in-person level 1 training that's coming out. It will be in March here in Austin, Texas. I will actually just be co-teaching it. And there's a bunch of new stuff in there. And for those of you that are already practitioners, don't worry, you're going to get updated on all of that. And we also have a multitude of workshops coming up that I'm going to be doing online. If you're a practitioner or if you just want to take it for yourself, I'm going to be teaching on all of the different meta skills, which is how to align yourself. What is alignment? What is presence? How do I become more presence in my life? And those sound like very vague, broad things, but they need to be defined. What is the definition of alignment? And how do I bring myself back into alignment? And what does it actually mean to be in touch? And part of being in alignment is being connected to yourself and knowing. I had a question yesterday on the online course call. I took them through this similar practice, and a woman asked, what is confusion? What do I do if I'm confused? Is that an emotion? Is that a story? That confusion is a lack of connection to yourself. Because when you're connected to yourself, you're not confused. Confusion means that there's a lack of either honesty with yourself and really being able to know where you're actually at right now. And when you are connected to yourself, there's usually never confusion. There's usually a lack of actually allowing myself to be where I'm at. Procrastination, I'm going to save that for the next time. That is a rabbit hole. There's a multitude around procrastination, which I've been a procrastinator my whole life. So chronic procrastination is a tough one. So I have made this a practice of going live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. That's Central Time, and I'm going to keep going. So please message us if you have any questions on the training. If there's certain topics that you want to see me dive into on this live, let us know. I love you so much, and I hope you have a